Hi everybody, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. In this video I'm talking about the top 5 fragrances from Roja Parfums, and I wanted this to be a two-hander, so I've roped in a random passerby from the street to help me out.
So stay tuned to FM.
So since Roja has done me the fantastic honour of coming on FRAG-MENTAL, I thought the way we do this top 5 is to make it the top 5 fragrances that mean the most to Roja. So some of these I've never smelled. I think actually I've only smelled one of these. I've probably smelled them in store, but you know, when you're smelling a lot, you get a bit, there's a lot to take in, isn't there?
Yep.
So Roja will talk about each one of these, the inspirations, how he came about to coming up with the idea to compose the fragrances, and I will sniff them. So you'll get some first impressions from me in this video as well. So let's, I mean, can we do these 5 to 1? Do you have them in an order, or would you rather do them all equally?
They happen to be on the table.
All right, fine. Okay, that's how we'll do this top 5. These are the top 5. So choose one, and we'll have a sniff.
So let's start with the one that's nearest to me. This scent is called Diaghilev. Diaghilev was a very famous Russian who basically modernized the whole of theatre. I was asked to make this scent for an exhibition at the V&A. That was it, limited edition. And then I, in 2011, had the great honour of going to Moscow for the first time and was given a private tour inside the Kremlin.
Wow.
Pinch me, pinch me.
Absolutely.
And I decided I'd relaunch this perfume. It's big and baroque, and I've had the most enormous number of fantastic things said about it on the net over the years, which make me very, very proud.
And I do know this one.
My favourite thing, which has been said lots of times, it's like the Mona Lisa of perfumery. It is a perfume, if you want to walk into a room and make everybody notice you, it's the perfume that will do it.
Yeah, but in a really good way, not in an obnoxious way, it's in a very good way. Yeah.
It's big, baroque, opulent, and smells very expensive.
And actually, I just said to you before we started filming, I was wearing this scent yesterday, and on skin, comparing it to smelling on paper on skin, it is even bolder and even bigger, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Projects much more.
One of the things that, to that comment, that I hope is interesting with my work, I use such high volumes of natural materials. They're around 80–85% naturals in an industry which uses maybe around 10% naturals on average. You get an impression on the card, but these scents absolutely need to be put on the skin for you to smell them. It's true of all perfumes, but it's particularly true of my work.
And this is a chypre?
It's a very big chypre. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it wants to be noticed.
It wants to be noticed. So what does a chypre mean for your viewers who maybe don't know?
Yeah, sure.
Chypres are based around woods and moss. In perfumery we use the same language as wine, sweet, and the opposite is dry. So these are the driest perfumes. And the people that like them generally are very, very self-confident. They're people where the grey or maybe is not in their vocabulary. It's black, white, and yes or no.
So if you're that type of person, or you want to project that, then Diaghilev is absolutely sent for you. Lovely, dry and spicy, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. What's the next one?
So the next one, I had this great privilege of being invited to Downing Street, which was a bit of an odd thing. I always say to people, imagine...
You're just ticking them off, aren't you? You're just ticking all these things.
Make a great big show. You have to imagine one day I'm just sitting at work and the phone rings and somebody says, it's Downing Street on the phone for you. Oh, okay. Hello, Roja Dove speaking. This is Downing Street, blah, blah. Anyhow, I was invited along, having no idea why I was there, but when I left, I'd been made one of around 30 ambassadors for our country, which I'm very proud of for my creative work. And they did a big campaign about Shakespeare, and it was called Shakespeare Lives, and they asked could I read my favourite quote from Shakespeare, which really made me nervous because they'd asked some of the most famous actors in Britain to say their favourite quotes. Anyhow, I did. It was a quote from Romeo and Juliet. But I also met the chief merchant of Selfridges who said, oh, do you think you could make a perfume to do with Shakespeare? I said, of course. It has to be from A Midsummer Night's Dream. So this scent is called A Midsummer Dream, so I got the night bit. And in this story, as we all know, Puck makes this has this magical potion that if he drops it on your eye, when you wake up, you fall in love with the first person you see. So I thought perfume is just like that. It's a magic potion, and hopefully it makes people fall in love with us. If your personality doesn't do it, maybe the perfume will, who knows. So this is a really, really unusual structure, because you have elements in it which are like a fougere, very, very fresh, citrus and aromatic. You then have something slightly chyprèd in it, so you have this very mossy, woody element, and also it has floral materials in. So it really is a very highly unusual and individual composition. The great thing is, people really did love it. It became the #1 selling perfume in Selfridges in London, against everything else in the store, with not a penny spent on marketing.
I can see why.
Customers just falling in love with it.
Almost has a little bit of a gourmand quality to it.
Maybe.
Is there any vanilla in there?
There is a little bit of vanilla. I think that the gourmand note you pick up is maybe from the vanillic material with the sweetness of the flowers, because it doesn't smell flowery. They just add a touch of sweetness without it being sweet and flowery, if that makes sense.
I played Demetrius once in a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Did you?
I was studying in the States, and I dabble in a little bit of acting, and it was a fantastic, just big lavish performance, as most performances of Midsummer Night's Dream are. So it's great to smell this one, actually, with my association.
That's very nice to hear.
It's lovely, it's really nice. And this is marketed to women, you say? This one?
No,
it's unisex.
Men and women.
Okay. I was going to say I could totally wear this one.
Nearly all of our fragrances are more a unisex than are for one gender or another. I think gender on a perfume is a load of nonsense. But
me too.
That's a whole story I could talk.
I'm with you on that one. What's the next one?
So the next scent, these 3 perfumes that sit in the middle all have violet caps, and the significance of violet in my company is it's my favourite colour. So the fact I elected to have these caps made says that these perfumes hold a very special place in my heart. And they sort of tell part of my story as a perfumer. The first one here is a perfume called A Goodnight Kiss. When I was a very small boy, 6 or 7 years old, my mother came to my bedroom to kiss me goodnight. She was going out to dinner party or a cocktail or something, and I remember the smell of her face powder and the perfume, and it was the first time I made a connection between a person, a perfume, and a minute in time. So it's a fascinating perfume. We launched it on the 6th of January, which would have been my mum's birthday. We launched 6 bottles. We launched on the 6th floor in Harrods. We sold 8 bottles where we didn't have them. And by the end of the month, it became our biggest selling perfume globally. So I was nervous of this perfume. Would people relate to the story of a kiss from somebody they didn't know?
Yep.
But it seems that everybody knows someone that kissed them, where the kiss has lasted a lifetime.
So they can develop an association with that memory of their own.
Yeah, exactly that.
Which I have a similar memory as well of my mother and father. They would dress up, and my mother would look glamorous, and my father would look very sharp in a suit. They'd be going out for a dinner date or dinner party. And I just remember the smell. I really associate that with my childhood. So I always enjoy hearing you tell that story.
Well, when I think, when I was a child, when perfume was in the air, it suggested something special was happening. So, my ordinary mum or your dad suddenly become these other people, and it's all very grown up in a world that's intriguing, we don't quite understand. So anyhow, that's the story of A Goodnight Kiss. If I hadn't had the kiss from my mother, I wouldn't have done the job that I do. I wouldn't be sitting in Milan here with you. Your viewers wouldn't be listening to what I have to say, because none of this would exist. So everyone should remember, a kiss they give their child can literally shape their future.
Absolutely.
There's a thought.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Just on that one, the scent, is this, have you tried to recreate that scent from your memory, or is it...
It's the feel of a scent. So I haven't tried to capture the smell of my mother, because I think that would be a little bit odd. I don't think anybody would be interested in that. So inside you have what's called a rice powder accord. So there's a perfume within it that had to be made, which makes you think of the smell of face powder. It's very gentle and very, very soft. My mother used to love jewellery, which is one of the reasons maybe I wear so much of it. So you have a lot of what are called aldehydes in, which make this shimmering or sparkling effect. It's very, very warm, very soft. So it has a touch of an echo of the perfume my mother wore, but I wanted to really capture the scent of, sounds stupid, the scent of the warmth and gentleness of love, of the kiss.
Beautiful. It smells very classic, timeless and classic.
It's the only perfume I've ever made that I made deliberately to be a bit retro, because I'm not a very retro person. I tend to live tomorrow rather than dreaming on yesterday. And I was really thrilled that the number of very young people, my brand, for what it's worth, our average customer sits between 25 and 45 from all the stuff we know around the world, which is quite young. The beauty director of Russian Vogue smelt it. I turned around and said, I've always looked for my perfume. This is it. And I thought, how great. Because I was really frightened of this perfume because the story was so personal. And I thought maybe nobody will relate to it, but people have.
It reminds me, it doesn't smell the same, but it gives me a similar feeling to Shalimar. And I've just been lucky enough to purchase an extrait of, I think it's 50s, 60s Shalimar, so it's beautiful, really nice. That's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I'm sure the powdery element that makes me think of that. The next is this one, which is, for a lot of people, a frightening perfume. Because it really commands something of the person that wears it.
Okay.
And I think that very few perfumes made today do that. This is called Great Britain. I was asked if I would make the scent of our country for the first great festival, which was held in Istanbul. So this was softly percolating through the air. And what I tried to create, so I want to tell you the story quickly before you smell it. I thought, what is Britain? When people from abroad think of Britain, I think they'll think of our royal family. So they'll think of majesty. So I knew my scent needed to be majestic. I think people think of our parliament, the inside of which is wood and leather. So the perfume had to have a lot of leather and wood. And whilst all that democracy happens in the House of Parliament, I still think in our country that the gentlemen's clubs in Pall Mall and St James's, which are also leather and wood, are where a lot of the big power conversations go on. So you have wood, leather. Rose is a symbol of Britain, England. It's also the symbol of the monarch, so it has rose. And I thought that in London, in particular, we have more foreign nationalities than any other capital city in the world. So Britain has always been this very inclusive country, which is not true of all countries. And I thought one of the things I love about being British is the fact that whoever you are and whatever you are, you can flourish in our country. So you could be the most delicate, fragile, creative, whatever person, and this might and majesty and strength allows you to flourish. So what symbolized that for me is the violet flower, because I thought you could go walking in a wood and literally crush this flower and not even know you've done it. But in our country, something like that, which is delicate and precious, the might and majesty of the country supports it and allows it to flourish.
Feeling tremendously patriotic.
Good. That's what I wanted.
No fish and chips are called in it.
No fish and chips. I wasn't in that part of Britain.
I'm glad.
But so I hope you smell it. It's
leather.
Very, very leathery.
Prominent,
I think it's a very, very sexual smell, not sensual. I think it's very animalic. That was a little tongue-in-cheek because we've always had the reputation that we don't, when of course we most certainly do. So that was that bit.
We don't need to be shy about it,
No, we don't need to be shy about anything. And then in the heart of it, you smell this, it all wraps around this central note of violet. I'm sure lots of your viewers watch for lots of different reasons. For anybody who really, really loves perfume and knows a lot about it historically, this, in fact, is a very classical style of perfume, which used to be called Cuir de Russes, Russian leathers, and no one makes them anymore. They used to be popular in the 1920s and 30s.
So it's a lovely, smooth, soft leather.
Very smooth.
It's not. Sometimes leather in fragrances can be quite sharp, and people like that sometimes. But this is smooth.
It can be they can be hard, very aggressive. But no, I hope, like the people of Britain, we grow on people in the end as you get to know us. And I think that perfume's like smooth and easy and very warm.
It is. I think leather can be a difficult note for some people to wear.
That's why I said it's challenging.
But I don't think this is as challenging as
you're a lovely man.
Well,
thank you very much. No, but thank you.
It's beautiful. It is really beautiful, and in fact, all of them are. Have we done? We've done four. Yeah, one left.
More
all right,
left.
Great.
And this one has to be the one I like the most.
Okay.
I have to say it because it's the perfume I made and wear for me. So of all the things I can wear, I only ever smell like this. I'd used the same scent for years and years, and then one day I noticed that it didn't smell the way it used to because the formula was changed. So I suddenly had to think, how do I want to smell? Which might sound a bit odd, not much, but I've always spent my time thinking how other people should smell. Suddenly I had to think, how do I want to smell? And I was working on this accord, and I describe it as a chypre wrapped up in cashmere.
I've not smelled it, you've sold it to me.
But that's how I describe it. It's a chypre wrapped up in cashmere.
Wow.
Because you have really a very classical chypre. It's very dry, very mossy, very woody.
Yeah.
It has a very soft spice accent, but that really just adds to the warmth. It doesn't really smell spicy. And then the base of it is extraordinarily soft and enveloping. That's it on.
Oh, yeah.
I said you have to smell them on the skin.
Yeah,
this doesn't give you the feel.
Almost a slight tea note on the skin, a little bit maybe.
So there.
That's lovely.
That's my scent. And
Okay.
inside, I hope your camera will pick it up. You'll see that it's full of gold.
Yeah.
And the gold is me again
Wow.
being a bit tongue-in-cheek, because every customer will say, "That's real gold." Yes, but the jasmine in there costs twice the price of that gold, and the orris, which takes 6 years to produce, costs 3.5 times the price of the gold, and it has natural ambergris in that costs 7 times the price of the gold.
Yeah.
But yes, it's gold.
Wow, I mean, it doesn't get more luxurious than that, does it? Well, Roger, thank you very much. I think that was the perfect way to do. Because I was thinking, should we do bestsellers? Should we do from the femme line or for the gentlemen? But I think that's perfect. I think they're the ones that mean the most.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute honour to have you on FRAG-MENTAL.
And I love the fact we had to travel halfway around Europe to do it, when we could have just done it in London.
We could, yeah, we could.
When you can
Well,
go
I'm in
to
London
Milan,
in a couple of weeks.
When you just go to Milan, why would you want to do it anywhere else?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's my first time in Milan, so I'm
Oh, is
looking
it?
forward. And I've just arrived. I've literally just stepped off the plane. So I'm looking forward to checking everything out. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video and my special guest. It's been great to. I always love doing these two-handers because it's basically an easier video to edit, and I just love having a conversation with somebody. So thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good.
Bye.
Would you do me the honour of the tagline to camera, stay tuned to FM? Would you feel comfortable doing that?
Of course I would.
Excellent. So what I will say
Where
is...
did you buy those from?
What
Where
the...
did you buy them from? Where did they come from?
well, it's... I'll give you a good address.